Hey guys, back again, Johnny and Daniel. If you're wondering why we're wearing Viking stuff, it's because we like supporting a really shitty football team. This review is a little bit late. We were pretty busy this weekend, unfortunately. Dan actually couldn't even go see the movie that we're reviewing, which is Doctor Strange. But I managed to make it to the theater, and now Dan's just going to ask me what I thought about it, basically.
Yeah, I wish I could go, but you ended up seeing it in IMAX?
Yes, I saw it in IMAX 3D. Definitely see it in IMAX if you're going to see it, because the visuals are awesome. It's definitely worth the ticket. Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange, he's an American doctor, and then he gets into this accident and he messes up his hand, so he can't operate anymore. And he's so desperate to fix it. He hears about these people that might be able to help him, in Nepal. And so he goes there, and that's where he meets the Ancient One and Baron Mordo, who's Chiwetel's character. And so that's kind of like how the story develops, and he becomes Doctor Strange.
Well, the biggest question mark for me with this movie was Benedict Cumberbatch, because I like his acting and stuff, and he's a very good actor, but I don't care for him really.
He's definitely a really great actor. If you haven't seen The Imitation Game, go watch that, because he got nominated for Oscar and he was top notch. But he did well, I thought. There were times like they planned him to be more comedic, and I've never seen him in any type of comedic role before.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like hit and miss as far as the comedy goes, because obviously it's a combination of like the writing and the directing and the acting. And it fell flat at some points, but when the dramatic stuff was going on, he nailed it. That's where he's kind of in his zone. The supporting cast was pretty good. There's Chiwetel Ejiofor. He did pretty well. Tilda Swinton, obviously, was very controversial casting.
Yeah, so how was that character? Because it just kind of stood out to me. In the trailers.
Yeah, that character is really interesting. The Ancient One is pretty much his teacher. And Tilda Swinton did a pretty decent job. And I thought that the character was cool to learn about. Most of the performances were pretty good. Definitely Benedict, though, led the way as far as that goes. Mads Mikkelsen, he played the villain in the movie. I can't really remember what the villain's name was, which is kind of like a pattern in Marvel movies, but he was pretty good. It wasn't like a terrible villain, but it wasn't like Loki or like Winter Soldier or anything like that. He was decent though.
How was there any fighting and stuff? Because a lot of the Marvel movies have pretty big fight scenes.
The fighting was mostly loaded into the back half of the movie, because the first half is basic origin story setup. Oh man, this guy is really talented but he's such an asshole, and then this bad thing happens to him, and now he needs to how's he gonna fix himself. And then obviously he goes and he learns of this whole multiverse, and he learns to control it, and his goal is to fix his hands, but along the way he kind of sees that there's more important things going on.
So how does this movie fit in with the MCU? Do they mention other characters at all, or is it really oh yeah, this is in the MCU for sure? There's Spider-Man and there's Iron Man.
There's a couple Easter eggs in there,
but it's not in your face.
Not really. I mean, I think the biggest thing that was in your face was they show the Avengers Tower a couple times in New York City. Okay. And then later on someone mentions the Avengers by name.
Yeah.
And then, but yeah, it's very isolated compared to some of these other, even more so than Ant-Man.
Yeah, that's
because obviously he fought Falcon and that and stuff, so it's kind of more interconnected. But it made me more excited. The things that happened in the movie made me more excited about what will happen later with Doctor Strange, more than I was really excited about what was going on with him in this particular movie, if that makes any sense. I think he'll be pretty major down the line.
Okay, so what's the main thing that stood out to you? The main thing. It could be character, it could be somebody's acting, it could be in a good way.
The visuals are obviously the first thing you think about, but there's a plot point that a plot device that I won't really get into too much, but it sets up for something later, probably an Infinity War, and I'm okay, this is gonna be exciting whenever this thing finally gets involved with this, and we see how that it pretty much lays out the whole battlefield for that big event that's coming. But
okay, so what's the bad thing that stood out to you?
Bad thing.
Tilda Swinton's bald head.
Tilda Swinton actually wasn't that bad, but I will say it was just sometimes I was just going back to the writing and some parts that didn't feel really great to me. It was just kind of I was just rolling my eyes at some of the things, like the lines and whatnot.
So where does this rank in the MCU films? Is it like...
I would say it's probably upper middle of the pack. The visuals are pretty awesome. I'll definitely give Marvel credit. I do knock them sometimes for being too formulaic after like a dozen movies, and I can see how that can happen. Yeah. But this is definitely a more out there character, and it's cool to see them take some risks and do something different. It's definitely not better than like the Captain America sequels or the Avengers movies or Iron Man 1, which it can be kind of compared to that because of the origin. But I would say it's better than like the Thor movies and the Iron Man sequels, like 2 and 3. I didn't like at all.
So what does your rank? What is this? What's the score?
Score, I will say it is a 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, that's not very good. But it's okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll probably be checking out the movie sometimes in the next week or two. I kind of want to see it, but I'm not really excited. But
yeah, it's funny. Going into the movie, I wasn't like, man, I gotta see this movie. But when I watched it, I was like, okay, this is pretty damn good. Yeah. There were parts where I was like, holy shit, this is pretty awesome. And then there were some parts like the Beyonce joke where I was just like, well that's alright.
There we go.
Yeah. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it, especially if you're invested in these movies. You gotta keep up. And there are definitely, like I said, big parts that are going to be, necessary to understand what happens maybe in Infinity Wars and stuff like that. So,
all right, guys, we'll go check out Doctor Strange. It's in theaters already. Go check it out. And also definitely check out Hacksaw Ridge because that movie is really good. And also check out our review that's in the description.
Hacksaw fucking Ridge.
Please subscribe. And thanks for watching and keep watching our video.
Thanks, guys.